Our next topic is mutually exclusive projects and the conflicts between NPV and IRR. So before we go on, when we have mutually exclusive projects, sometimes there will be a conflicting signal sent by NPV and IRR. So NPV can say one thing, IRR can say exactly the opposite. In this case, we should always rely on NPV, not the IRR, because with mutually exclusive projects, IRR could be wrong. Now, let's go through our example to see why we say NPV is more reliable than IRR with mutually exclusive projects. Now, first of all, we can view IRR as a yield to maturity of a bond. So, if we think of a bond as a project, then the yield to maturity of the bond would be the IRR of the bond project. So for example, suppose we have a 10-year bond with a 9% annual coupon and a $1,000 par value. Currently the bond sells at $1,134.20. So using the financial calculator or Excel spreadsheet, we can calculate the yield to maturity. That will be 7.08%. And this will be the IRR, the internal rate of return of investing in this bond project. So to illustrate the conflicts between NPV and IRR with mutually exclusive projects, let's first construct an NPV profile. So how do we construct an NPV profile? Let's say we have two projects, Project A, Project B, and remember these two projects are mutually exclusive projects. If we take A, we cannot take B. If we take B, we cannot take A. So in the table, we have the cash flows for both Project A and Project B. And both projects, the life is 4 years. So for Project A, at time 0, the investment is $1,000. And then year 1, the cash flow is $200. Year 2, the free cash flow is $350. Year 3, the free cash flow is $550. Year 4, the free cash flow is $700. And keep in mind, these are all after-tax free cash flows. And Project B, at time 0, it also costs $1,000 to invest. And then year 1, free cash flow will be $650. Year 2, $500. Year 3, $200. Year 4, $150. Now, compare A to B, we see the difference in terms of their cash flows. Even though both cost the same, $1,000 to invest, but their cash flow is kind of different. For Project A, the cash flows will be increasing over the years. For Project B, the cash flows will be decreasing over the years. Now, how do we construct the NPV profile, and what is the NPV profile? First, let's calculate the difference of these two cash flows in every year. So at time 0, the difference between free cash flow of A and the free cash flow of B is 0. At the end of year 1, the free cash flows difference between A and B is, if we use free cash flow of A minus free cash flow B, 200 minus 650, we will get the negative $450 difference. Year 2, free cash flow difference between A and B, 350 minus 500, so negative 150. Year 3, 550 minus 200, that'll be 350. Year 4, 700 minus 150, that'll be $550. So that will be the difference between the free cash flow of A and the free cash flow of B. And also we need to calculate the internal rate of return for all two projects and the difference of the free cash flow. So the internal rate of return of A, using the financial calculator or Excel spreadsheet, you should get 22.791%. For Project B, you should get 25.281%. Now, the internal rate of return of these two project's free cash flows difference. So consider that difference of free cash flows also as one project. That internal rate of return will be 18.779%. Now, the NPVs of these projects. For project A, if we're using 10% as the discount rate or weighted average cost of capital, then the project A NPV should come out as $362.41. For project B, that net present value should be $256.85. So here is the steps that we're using financial calculator to calculate the internal rate of return of the project's free cash flows difference. So using the financial calculator, first press the CF registry key, yellow second button, clear work to wipe out the memory. CFO will be 0, so type in 0, make sure you press enter. Go down. CO1 first cash flow negative 450, so type in 450 negative sign, press enter. Frequency of that, so FO1 will be 1, so type in 1 as the frequency of FO1 and press enter. Now press down arrow to go to CO2. So the second free cash flow, negative 150, and that will be the difference between project A and project B's free cash flow at the end of year 2. So type in 150 negative and then press enter. We have the CO2. Frequency of that will be 1. So 1 for FO2 and then press enter. Now move down. CO3, 350. Press enter. Frequency of CO3, 1, press enter. CO4, 550, press enter. And then FO4, the frequency of that is also 1. So type in 1 and press enter. Now, we've done all our free cash flows. So keep pressing down arrow to skip CO5, FO5, and go back to CFO. Now press IRR and compute to calculate the IRR. So that should give us 18.779% as was listed on the previous slide.